Hey there. Today we continue reshelling my S13. It used to look like this, and now it looks like this. In the last episode we got the entire front section of the interior done. In this episode we're going to fully complete the interior, which includes the rear section, roof, doors, and the rest of the wiring. From this angle it might look like the interior is mostly complete, but we still have to install all of this stuff, a bunch of this stuff, most of this stuff, and a couple of these big red morons. I started by routing the remainder of the wiring harness, since it needs to go underneath every other part. I picked up a set of these wiring clips, since the original fasteners are all long gone, and I wanted something a bit more OEM than zip ties. This video was sponsored by Glarks. Glarks, for people who sort by lowest price. Once I had the wiring all nicely routed where it needed to be, I decided to do something about the seat belts. The seatbelts in this car were all either cut up or melted. Don't ask. Luckily I saved the belts off the teal car, so it was just a simple matter of swapping them in. With the boring stuff out of the way, it was time to start installing actual interior panels. I decided the best course of action was to start with the roof liner and work my way backwards from there. Look at that. That's the face of a man who doesn't understand how a screwdriver works. The headliner on an S13 is very simple. It's mostly held up in the front by the sun visors and rear view mirror. Once I had the headliner in, I went ahead and installed the sunroof. Then I immediately removed the glass, because it needs some love. At some point circa 2004, a previous owner of this car decided that they'd been gapped by one too many minivans, and that the best way to prevent that from happening again was to wrap the sunroof glass in fake carbon fiber. It probably looked goofy as hell when it was new, and now that it's seen 2 decades of sun and weather, it looks double goofy as hell. Luckily this stuff peeled off very easy, revealing some very well preserved glass underneath. I then threw it back on the car, and as you can see, I am very hyped about it. Then I installed the A and B pillar interior panels. These are super easy, they just clip in. Before I could continue with the rear panels, I had to install the speaker supports, as they're a crucial mounting point for all of the panels in the trunk. These side panels also just clip in, but in my experience, they require some light spanking. I actually installed these too early, so if you're misguided enough to be using this video as a tutorial, do these last or you'll have to take them out again. At this point, things are really starting to feel like they're coming together.
Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm pretty sure these speakers are total garbage. They are the Infinity Kappa series, which sounds like they were pretty cheap when they were brand new in 2009, probably. But given the amount of time and money this car is still gonna need just to be drivable, upgrading the speakers is the absolute last of my worries right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install these junk speakers right now, and you're gonna keep your mouth shut about it. And then I promise at some point in the future, I will upload a video of me replacing this junk with actual nice audio equipment.
These trunk side panels are basically just carpet stuck to cardboard, and mine are holding together with a hope and a prayer. If I ever have to take these out again, they'll probably just turn into dust. Then I installed the speaker covers. For best results, I like to use a karate chop. This is the hatch weather stripping out of the teal chassis. Could you have guessed? I tried to get as much of the teal off as I could, but ultimately decided that I don't care that much.
Alright, so to complete the rear interior of this car, I made this custom trunk floor and rear seat cover, and I'm super happy with how this turned out. I made a separate video detailing how I did this because it was quite a bit of work, so if you want to go see that, I will link it in the description. Now, the last thing I have to do before I can call the interior complete is install the doors. However, there is one problem I need to solve before I can do that. These doors use power windows. My old car used manual windows, which means there's no wiring in the harness for power windows. So what I'm going to need to do here is figure out how these power windows are supposed to be wired up, create a custom harness for them, tuck it under the dash, and then I should have some working power windows and I can install the doors. So once you get rid of all of the power locks and power mirrors and speaker crap, there's really only 4 wires that matter. There's a red and white wire coming out of both doors that need to connect to each other, a red and black wire coming out of both doors that need to connect to each other, some white and black wires that need to go to power, and a black wire that needs to go to ground. So this little setup here, that's basically what the center wiring harness is going to do, that both of these door harnesses are going to plug into.
With the wiring all planned out, I stripped the door harnesses down to just the essentials, and I pinned out 2 plugs for each, one for the speakers and another for the windows. This is what each door harness looked like once I was done. Then I created the center harness, which was essentially just 4 wires that would connect the window plugs on each door to each other, as well as power and ground. A quick test showed that all was good with the wiring, which meant that I could run the center harness under the dash. However, there was still a bit more work to do before I could install the doors. I still needed to install the door sill, door moldings, and weather stripping, and oh look at that, that's all done. Now I could install the doors. The mirrors on these red doors were totally trashed, so I replaced them with good mirrors from the teal chassis.
First try.
I also peeled the gross purple tint off the windows. This tint was cheap garbage, so obviously it didn't come off nice at all.
Alright, so we got the doors installed, wired up, mirrors changed out, tint peeled, and now we're ready for the door cards, but there is a small problem with that. This is my driver's side door card, and this is the window switch. Like all the other interior pieces, this came directly from the teal car, which had manual windows, so it's not made for power window switches. So what I have to do is expand this hole enough that I can fit the power window switches through it, but if I expand it too much, it's going to look terrible or it's not going to fit correctly. And black door cards aren't super easy to come by, so I only really have one shot at this. Okay, at this point we're very close to a 100% complete interior. There's just a few more things that need to be installed. I have a feeling this video is going to be like way too long already, so I'm gonna hand wave the hell out of this.
ECU, ECU plug, ECU cover panel, fuse box cover panel, dead pedal, driver's side kick panel. And with that, the interior is completely finished. I know it doesn't look 100% OEM, but it's a damn sight closer than most S13s. Overall, I'm very happy with it. It all feels very sturdy, looks nice and clean, and ultimately it's a place I'll enjoy spending time in. That's all for this episode. Apologies for a bunch of interior videos in a row. I know it's not the most interesting subject matter. Stick around for the next episode, which is all mechanics, all engine stuff, and should hopefully have a first start in it. Be sure to subscribe, like it if you liked it, and I'll see you next time.